for this event. And with that, we are now live on Facebook. We're recording. And I would like to turn it over to a couple of people who really probably don't need much of an introduction because most of you know them. But Brittany and Tim, if you could go ahead and just, for the new folks, let everyone know who you are and what you'd like to talk about. And it's all yours.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk. We're talking about yoga and the benefits tonight. For those that don't know myself and Tim, we work with the Anchorage Senior Activity Center, and both of us have been here for quite a while. I just hit my 8 years here, which is really exciting. And Tim, I believe, is going on 24?
Close, 23, 24.
23 or 24 years here, and we both love working here. We love working with our members, and I hope that comes across throughout our presentation this evening. Both of us are certified in personal training. We are class instructors with having different certifications and a number of things. Tim is a master trainer and Tai Chi instructor, massage therapist, and many more, as well as yoga instructor. So we have a lot that we do within the senior center, including help people with their workouts in our weight room, manage our classes, and again, we'll do like personal training, and Tim does massages. With that being said, feel free if you guys have any questions for us about what we do here at the Senior Center, or even about our jobs, or even about our programming, you can always send that in the chat and we can start to save some questions for the end of the class. With that, I will go ahead and welcome Tim Chin to go ahead and start discussing some of the benefits of yoga. And there are so many, and so many that we probably can't even touch base on all of them tonight, but we'll give everybody a good start on what to expect.
Yeah, so, when you think about all the benefits, I mean, they're amazing. There's like 30, 40 different types of illnesses, injuries that it takes care of, not, let alone the problems that we have as seniors. There's another couple of dozen of those things. And so instead of listing them all, I'll tell you about some of the ones that I think are really important to seniors. One is that Tai Chi is great for your posture. We can see if you're out of alignment, give you exercises, yoga exercises to put you closer into alignment. And if you stay with it, put you into alignment, increasing your balance because your posture is better, creating a better feeling about yourself, and also the way you look, the way you feel. A lot of seniors have bad disc problems, and yoga is one of the things that we could actually help you cure those type of problems, is to put those back problems in alignment. That's usually why you have a back problem, is because it's out of alignment, and it creates discs that are ruptured. And so we can work on that and get the back to where it should be. And that will solve a lot of the pain from the disc problems. Also, heart problems. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of the hospitals, a lot of the nursing homes actually have yoga programs for people who have heart disease. Not only is it good, for the heart, but it takes a lot of the pressure off the arteries. It helps with the breathing. It helps with the blood pressure. It helps with the stress level. So there's all kinds of advantages for people that have heart problems. Also, because Tai Chi or Qigong or Pilates or yoga, these things help you to relax. And that's a real important part, is taking the stress, helping you sleep better, helping you think more clearly, be able to work out problems and not get so frustrated, to stay more relaxed. That's great for anxiety, depression, just all kinds of mental problems. The brain kind of also ages too. And so that's one of the things that yoga is really good for, is to kind of prevent that aging of the brain along with the aging of the body. I like to think of yoga as something that when I do it, is that it takes all the tension away, because tension, stress is what was in the past, something that you wish you hadn't done, or something you wish you should have done, or it's in the future, wondering, what should I do? What will happen? That's stress. When you're in yoga, you're concentrating on the stretching of the muscle, on the breathing. You are in the here and now. You're not being stressed. And so that's one of the best things about yoga. And the way I look at it is that if after the class you were glad you came and you feel good, then it was definitely worth it. And I always feel that way after a yoga class. And remember, I have a lot of certifications, all the other things that you can list, I'm certified in, and I'm still picking yoga as the best thing for seniors. And the reason that I think it's the best thing is that it has this wide variety of things that we can do, modifications that we can make to address all the different age groups, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. We can do modifications to do the same exercise for the 50-year-old as a 100-year-old with just a few modifications. And also the ability. Some people have more ability to do some yoga stances or exercises than others. And so until we can get you to a certain point, we know what to do to make it safe for you. And so one of the things that you do gain is that you gain strength. You get strength in the muscles, in the joints, the bones. And that's another thing that seniors have to watch out for, is osteoporosis. And since yoga is weight bearing, it does increase the bone mass. And as we age, we lose bone mass. Same with muscle, we lose muscle mass. And we can give certain types of forms of the yoga where we actually increase the strength of the muscle. And also the connective tissue around the joint to give more support to the joint. Put the joint back into alignment to keep you safe from injuring yourself. It's also great for flexibility, mobility, vitality. To stay healthy, you've got to move. That's what the body was meant to do. It was meant to move. If you don't move, there's only one thing that's going to happen to you, is that you're going to die. We know that. If you've ever gone into the hospital for an operation, for anything, heart, brain, it doesn't matter. Within 24 hours, they've got you up and walking. And there's a reason for that, is that you got to keep moving. Otherwise, you won't survive. And so yoga is a great exercise for mobility because everybody can do it. We can make it very easy. We can make it very difficult, but we can adjust it to your abilities so that you're always moving. And of course, you always have the chance to pull out of a move or stop exercising. We want you to listen to your body. Honor yourself. Don't try to do something that you can't do. When you start to lose your form, stop. Our number one thing is always safety here. It doesn't matter what the class is, what the exercise, anything. When you walk in this building, our number one concern is your safety. Whether it's just walking through this building, whether it's coming to a class, whether it's doing the exercise, we're always watching out for your safety. Another thing is your posture and alignment. So this is what happens, especially let's take the last 2 years, is we've been sitting at home. And if you're sitting at home, usually what you're doing to be doing either watching TV, you're on the computer, you're on the phone, but you were hunched over. This is what's happening. And when you take the last 2 years for how little you get out, you got to have a break. You can't stay in those positions for long lengths of time. And so what we see, in fact, there's actually now a technical name for it. It's called tech neck. And what's happening is your neck is coming forward, shoulder is slumping, back is lengthening, chest is shortening. And when this one shortens, it keeps you forward. When this one's long, it keeps you forward. And that's when you get thrown out of alignment, your posture changes, and sooner or later, it's pain. Okay. It's just kind of like carpal tunnel. Because everybody always thinks, well, I did that and I got carpal tunnel. No, you didn't do that, got carpal tunnel. You did a lot of things in the past and you got to the point where the straw broke the camel's back, just that one move. And that's eventually what's going to happen to you if you're going to sit at home all day without doing some type of exercise, watching Zoom and doing the yoga exercises, or coming to class, or doing them on your own. But you've got to move. You cannot sit there and be slumped over. You know, sitting is worse than standing for the back. As you're sitting, once you lean forward and you start to get tired, and how many people do this for hours on a time, the neck muscles start to give out. And so then the neck muscles, they go ahead and they take the trapezius muscles and let them do the job. When they get tired, they let the back start to do the job. The upper back, the middle of the back, and then the lower back. And then finally, when it gets to the lower back, that's what's holding you up. And when you think about it, it's just when your ear is just an inch over your shoulder, your head is doubling the weight. So most of us weigh, 12 pounds a head. 1 inch, 24 pounds. 3 inches, double that. So imagine when you're using the whole body that's forward and the lower back is holding up. That's when you get up and you're aching, you're feeling your back, you're rubbing it. That's because those back muscles are being asked to hold you up, and they're not meant to hold you up. And then because you are leaning forward, your stomach is relaxing, so you're not even using your core muscles. So then the back muscle really gets it. And you can only go so long and do that. We've been into this we're going into 3 years now. We're seeing already as therapists, we're seeing a lot of people with back problems, neck problems, headaches, and we're going to see a lot more. And talk to your grandchildren, your children. They're the ones that are really going to suffer one of these days because they've got years and years as they continue to do this. All the kids that are playing their games on their telephones, that's totally out of alignment. As soon as you remember all this here, once it goes over the shoulder, you are now out of alignment. And next time you see somebody on the phone again, see where their ear is. I guarantee you it's way out there. Okay, causing all kinds of problems that they'll just be coming. And another thing that happens when you do that is it affects your balance, right? So to be really balanced, you want your center of gravity going all the way from the top of your body down into the floor. When you're forward, you're helping gravity pull you down, pull you to the front. And when you're getting pulled to the front, if you stumble, you're going to have to be one really strong person to catch yourself and pull yourself back. And the older we get, the harder that gets. The number one injury to seniors is falling. And that's one of the reasons is that you don't have your alignment, you have poor posture, and you have poor balance. Those go together. And then another thing is that it helps to reduce that damage that we get from not using our brain, not connecting the mind and body together. That's the big advantage of yoga is that you are using your body and you're using your mind, you're using your breath, you're using everything together. It doesn't help anything to just sit there and look at a TV and not think. With yoga, your concentration is on what you're doing, breathing, getting that full breath. When you get that full breath, what happens is the diaphragm drops down, the lungs expand. So you're solving a lot of problems that you may have on lungs later in life is that they're stretched out. If you don't breathe, it's just like smoking. Things start to just crunch up and it's hard to breathe. So we want to use the breathing in yoga to not only work the heart and the lungs, but also to push that oxygen through the body, get rid of the waste in the body. So then we started getting, into other parts of the body and what they do, the lymphatic system, your blood pressure, the arteries. There's just so many things that moving helps delay or prevent. So when we're working on delaying the effects of aging on the brain, we can actually increase our ability of the brain. The only way that you can increase it is by exercise. Doesn't matter what exercise, it doesn't have to be yoga, but yoga is a great one to do because you don't have to, for a lot of people, they don't have the ability to go and run on a track. They don't have the ability to lift heavy weights or do dancing classes, but they do have the ability to stretch and do some poses. And so that will help with the brain, and with the brain comes better sleep, better thinking, better memory, less anxiety, and actually depression. It helps with depression. When you can start to do exercise and do yoga for depression instead of taking Prozac, that's a big advantage. So, if you're depressed, try it. It always feels good. Exercise always feels good when you're depressed. Doesn't matter if it's yoga or anything. You want to keep moving. Don't stand still. And then many of the things that we do in yoga are really the same exercises that are given to you when you're injured and you go to a physical therapist. Those are yoga related exercises. So we know that those related exercises will help prevent you from getting worse and actually get you back to where you were. So why even get there? Do these exercises, stretch, get that mobility. Think about that. Even if you cut back on your stretching, what happens is that you lose your range of motion. When you lose your range of motion, you can't build more muscle because you can't go to that point. You see it on the airplane. It's a lot of people, they can't put it up, their luggage up there. How many people, and I've done it all the time, is that I see somebody that they can't lift and I do it for them. Well, if you can't get it up to here, you're not going to be able to use those muscle fibers that it takes to lift that. So maybe you're not lifting that, but maybe you want to lift something else at home. Put the dishes up there, put the clothes up there. So you've got to keep that range of motion, and if you don't, what you get is you get stiffness. Everybody knows how much pain stiffness is. You know what it's like to be stiff. We can be stiff from a lot of things, from overworking, from not having enough water, but that goes away. But we're talking about the stiffness that if you're not adding to the exercise to increase your range of motion, we're talking about that kind of stiffness, the pain stiffness, the ones that when you get up in the morning, you just feel like you didn't even get a good night's sleep. You feel so sore, so stiff. And if you don't do anything about it now, it only gets worse. It doesn't get better by not doing anything. So those are the benefits that we get from doing yoga. And actually, inactivity is really what hurts seniors more than aging. It's not doing the exercise, not doing the movement. That's what really hurts you. It's not that you're getting older, because you can get better. I mean, we have people in our classes that are close to 100 that are doing yoga. And you can see the one thing too is that they look better. They look younger. They move better. They move younger. Don't we all want to look better, look younger, move better? And so that's an important part of that, is because that's what's happening is when you're doing yoga, you're actually taking your body to that edge where you are increasing your ability to move and to move further. And one other thing I'll say is that as far as exercise go, the reason that I think, and remember, I teach a lot of exercise classes. The reason that I like yoga is because it fits everybody. So remember that if you're out there and you haven't done yoga, try it, because we can match that exercise to you, to where you will enjoy it and where we will actually help you feel better and look better.
Awesome.
All right.
I'd love to circle back on just a few things Tim touched base on, just the encompassing amount of what yoga can do and even where you can find yoga, even if it's not labeled as yoga. Within Tai Chi, you'll get similar practice. Pilates will get similar practice. So can also keep that in mind as well. Yoga doesn't have to be this one shoe fits all. I think that's wonderful as well. We are always working into as instructors, and that's anywhere you go. There, you should always have an instructor that will always give modifications for you. Um, as well as something I wanted to give, one of my favorite quotes, and of course I can't remember who it's by, but you're only one workout away from a good mood. We can completely change our mindset with yoga, movement, anything, um, just by doing something. We got to do something. We change our mood just by doing something. I would love to see either a show of a hand on screen, or if you know how to use your little hand emoji to raise your hand, or show me in the chat how many of us move every morning when we get up. Maybe Maybe it's a class, maybe you just do weird things, right? Maybe it's just stretching. We do like stuff like this, right? Good. I see some smiles. I see some waves. Perfect. We should, when we wake up in the morning, we shouldn't just trunch down to go get our coffee. We should be doing something at the edge of our bed or before we get up, stretch, lengthen the body and get that circulation going. That's going to immediately help us just to get in that right frame of mind for getting up in the morning. So there's some simple things that we can do already that will simulate yoga and put us on the right foot for the start of the day. So just some basic movements. It can be whatever, twisting, wrist circles, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, maybe your nose. I'm just kidding. um, so something that I wanted to touch base on was our 4 pillars of exercise that maybe you feel like I can't do yoga because I'm not strong enough. I don't have good balance. I'm not flexible enough. So what are things that can assist in your yoga practice? It's going to be, like Tim said, any exercise realistically. As long as you enjoy it, it's going to improve your yoga practice. But we can think of endurance. Maybe endurance, we walk a little bit, even whether it's outside, at the mall, on a treadmill. Maybe you're making laps around your island. Or maybe you take some extra time to go up and down the stairs in your home. That's a great way to get extra endurance for your heart and lungs, which again will help that breathing and that circulation for when you're doing yoga. We can think of flexibility. So yoga tends to hold stretches for a little bit longer length of time. So if you're scared to lengthen that time frame to 2 to 5 minutes in a yoga class, try small stretches at home where you're holding them for 20 to 30 seconds. That will also benefit that flexibility for going into yoga. Again, we don't have to go into a pretzel to be able to do yoga. As well as working on our balance, little things, you guys, circling the ankle, standing on one foot to balance. And that can be where you hang on to the back of a chair, your couch, a countertop, whatever you have nearby, but little things to work on your balance, toe stands, and of course our strength. Whereas you get a lot of strength training in yoga, again, you hold those poses. We still want to add in that strength. Again, going up and down our stairs will help our leg strength. Maybe doing a few bicep curls will help us to get to be able to hold those arms out a little bit longer for our warrior poses and things of that nature, really catering to how can we benefit our total body, our total well-being, to assist in yoga. And again, if you're nervous to try it out, there's ways that you can do this at home. Everybody is familiar with Zoom. And so I would hope that everybody knows how to get onto YouTube as well. You can log on to any browser, Firefox, Google, Safari, whatever you have, however you get onto the internet, type in YouTube. YouTube should pop up and it has a lot of videos. You can type in yoga for seniors, seated yoga for seniors, and an array of videos will pop up. Find the one that you can just watch and see what you like. If you've watched a 15-minute video or a 30-minute video, maybe you want to start doing that at home. You can that's the great thing about the online things and the aspect of that. Try it in the safety of your own home. And again, make sure you stay safe. Make sure there's no tripping hazards around. But the cool thing is you don't need a whole lot of space to do yoga. And you really don't need a whole lot of space to do anything. Um, so just making sure that you're able to move. And we've been doing a lot of awful talking about moving and exercise, and we're all sitting right now. So this will lead us into our next chapter. Tim is going to go ahead and run me through some different exercises, and we're going to be going between the chair, standing, and on the mat on different items that you can do to just start your yoga practice. Some of it might be a little bit shorter than you would see in a typical yoga class. Or maybe we spend more time on one particular move. If you would like to stand and do some exercise with us, awesome. If you'd like to just observe and watch today, then that's fine as well. It is up to you. Again, you have to enjoy it. Feel free to take down notes. We love to see people doing that too. If you don't want to do this on camera, you're always more than welcome to turn your camera off too, and that's fine. So Tim will be instructing me. I'm going to adjust our camera here just a moment, and then he'll kind of go ahead and start talking to you about where we're going to get started on this section of yoga.
Yeah, I think I know almost everybody there, but there's a couple people that I don't know who you are. So I don't know if you've ever done yoga, but one of the problems with yoga, in fact, 23 years ago when I was first here, I had just gotten my certification in yoga, and I had mentioned to people in one of my classes, hey, I'm going to start a yoga class. And what they said was, no, we don't want any of that voodoo stuff done here. And that's the problem with yoga, is that everybody thinks about that discipline that was 6,000 years ago in India that involved religious chanting, different philosophies, and everybody thinks that that's what yoga is. And it's not that. It's not that. It's what we teach is Western yoga. And that is basically exercise. There are some places around where you can get types of yoga that do chanting and have a little bit of philosophy, but nothing like what a lot of people remember as being yoga. And now you see that it's so popular, and it's everybody's doing it. They understand what it is, but there's still some of you that are thinking that it's that old stuff, and it's not. It's more about giving you strength, giving you flexibility, giving you a way to relax, a way to increase your balance, a way to improve your posture, your alignment. So if you still think that, come down here just to watch a class. You don't have to join. You can watch, and you'll see really what it is. Anyway, so
Make
you
sure
ready
to
to start?
give me a call first, though, if you're coming down.
Call her first. Okay.
Yes, ready to start. Where are we starting?
Let's start standing.
Starting standing. And I'm going
Okay.
to keep the chair nearby. That way, if I can also show you guys a modification. If you do want to stand, you can still use the chair for support.
Okay, so we talked about some of the modifications. So one of the things that yoga stands out about is the spine, is the flexibility in the spine. Your spine is meant to flex, meant to extend, laterally turn, rotate. The spine does a lot of things. In fact, we agree that you aren't as old as you think you are. You're as old as your spine is young. So if you have a lot of flexibility in that spine, you're going to feel a lot better, move a lot better. So if this was a real advanced class, we might have her do a forward fold. She's just going to bend forward. Okay. She may, we don't really do that much here, but some places they may even have her touch her toe. So what she's getting into is she's getting into flexion. She's shortening her joints. And then we might get her back and have her come up and do an extension. So she may lean back, and we probably have her do it on the mat, on the floor, like fish, not do fish.
You guys will have to
Okay.
apologize. I'm not yoga certified.
Lay on
So
your back.
if he gives me a term, I
Okay.
may not know it.
And so put your hands behind your back, arch your back, come up.
Like this? Oh, like this?
Yeah, sure, you can do that too,
Oh,
both.
Tim.
See, so these are advancements, right? This is what's really nice. Flexible when you're young, like she is. But if you're old like me, then we're going to take you to the chair, right? So let's work the spine in the chair. And we're going to do what is called cow cat, which is a real famous yoga pose. And so actually, let's do it on the floor first, because we're going to work up to that one. So she's on the floor. Her hands are underneath her shoulders. Her knee is underneath her hips. And she's going to pull in her stomach and round out her upper back, chin down towards the chest, rounding out that spine. Okay. And now she's going to come in. She's going to push up, arch the back, raise the head up, push the hips down. Okay. And go through it. She's going to go through it up and down. So what she's doing, she's moving that spine. She's keeping that spine flexible. Not only is she keeping the spine flexible and increasing the flow of fluids to the spine to keep it young, but she's also increasing the strength of the muscles, the rector spinals, the muscles that are around her spine, her core. She sucks it in. So she's working her core, her back, her torso. And now she's also doing heavy breathing. Big breath, letting out. So she's working her heart, her lungs. She's getting their movement. She's working that spine. Now, you may not want to come down on the floor, or maybe you don't want to do this exercise. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you to the chair. And we're going to do cow, cat, and chair. So hands on the knees. She's going to round out the back, drop her chin down, pull the stomach in towards the spine, lift the chest up, head up, arch the back. And now she's taking that spine, moving it back and forth, keeping that flexibility, strengthening those muscles, getting that fluid, keeping that spine young, strengthening those core muscles that support the spine.
I'd like to make a note as well, when you are doing this, relax your jaw and don't let your teeth come together. That's going to help when we take our head back to not strain the neck.
So let's say that you have a lower back problems. Well, we can work the cervical area, which is the neck here, and we can work the thoracic, which is the middle of the back. So if she's going to interlace her hands, bring them over her head, and she's going to just come forward, just bending at this part of the spine right here. And then, so maybe her pain is in the middle of the back. So we can bring it down the middle of the back. Hold on the back of the chair. Yeah, lean forward. And then bring your hands, round out your spine. There you go, straighten it up. Good. So this always reminds me of this dog I used to have. Always did this. And that's where, I always call it, it's called cat cow. I always call it cat dog because I can only picture my dog doing it, stretching, getting that big stretch, rounding out. And that's what you should do, is you should look at the animals and know that if the animals are doing it, it must be something good. Because, animals move so well. They just have that just beautiful, elegant flow to their movements. That's because they're always stretching before they even move. Okay. So you can see that we can work that whole spine by just making modifications.
Hey, Tim, can we
Yeah.
pause here for a moment and see if anybody has any questions? Because
Sure.
you're going through some really good information here, and just want to make sure that in case anybody has any questions, like I have one, I'm just going to start this if it's okay. What should you watch out for when you're doing this? So the things that should your body not be, should you not be feeling certain things, sounds? What should you be careful of when you're going through something like this?
Well, the easiest thing is pain. You shouldn't
Okay.
feel pain. Okay. You shouldn't feel like you're holding your breath and forcing the movement. You should feel the movement as it flows. That it's not you're not being stuck somewhere. You feel it. Listen to your body. That's what it's all about. Is you listen to your body. If it doesn't feel right, I guarantee it's not right. Your body is really smart. It will tell you. All you have to do is listen to it.
Okay.
And Daryl, if you are finding that you're cracking, popping,
Yep.
all those little Rice Krispies in there, again, as Tim was saying, as long as it doesn't hurt, it should be fine. It's when you're getting into like a pain level of like 6 or more, maybe you either ease up and don't go as far. So for example, if we're into cat cow and we're going really far back into that cat cow, if that bothers your neck, maybe don't go back as far. Or same thing, maybe if we're arching the back, if that hurts, don't go back as far. Start from your foundation and work up.
Great, perfect. All right, I'd like to pause here. I know we've got people on mute, but if you can use your icon, or you can take yourself off mute. If you have any questions, I just want to pause here and see if there are any questions before we move on to more of the.
And feel free for those that would like to utilize the chat as well. I've been paying attention to that. So if those come up while we're instructing, we'll go ahead and take time to answer those questions as well.
Great, and I'll watch the chat for you too as well, Brittany. So any questions from anyone? I'm just gonna go ahead and take a look and see. I don't see any virtual hands up. I don't see any real hands up. So let's go ahead and can carry on.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Sure, you bet.
Yeah, so I see a lot of you have been in my classes. I'm curious, which ones are your favorite poses? Do you like cow cat, downward dog, or do you like the seated chairs when we're just extending the joint to as far as it will go, moving the arms,
You want to drop those in
bending
chat?
forward?
Yeah, so
Anybody
people
want to answer?
can drop those in chat or come off mute.
Phyllis.
Okay,
I like the ones that where we actually twist around our spine.
okay. So we're just twisting and turning. Yeah.
Mhm.
So remember, we're rotating the spine.
Yes.
You know, we're working right now, we're working this spine, but you like to rotate it, bring it
Yes.
down. Yeah.
And that is important to note. We do want to work in all 3 planes of motion. So we want to work frontal, transverse, and lateral, which I believe is also called sagittal.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. So let's say that even that little movement was too much for her. Okay. So I can have her just hold on to the chair and just lean forward and get that stretch there. And she can just round out her back. She doesn't have to move. She can just round it out. So we can make it so easy. Or we could go back to having her bending forward, bending back. And there's a lot of different yoga exercises that would do it on the mat to make it difficult. So it just depends on what your ability is, what your age, and how you feel, what you want to do. But every time you do that, you go to a different place. You can keep on moving, getting better and better. Doesn't go the other way. I don't see people getting worse. It's people getting better.
And we do have a comment that just came in for direct messaging. Leg stretches are really good with all the extra sitting from COVID. So with the sitting, we tighten those hip flexors. All this fun stuff in here gets really kind of gunked up. So if you do get some back pain, sometimes that can correlate from sitting. So maybe trying to stretch out through that hip flexor. Maybe we'll be able to touch base on some of those stretches today. We have standing and seated versions for that.
Yeah. So talking about the leg stretches, one of the things that happens when you sit is that the inside of the legs, they start to tighten up and they hold you. And then when you move, let's say you're walking, then these legs are tight. One tends to want to overtake the other. So then you start to lift the leg instead of walking and rolling on your feet. When you start doing that and your legs start to get tight, the quadriceps, they get tight. The adductors, the inside of thighs, they get tight, but one wants to overtake the other. When it overtakes it, one is doing the correct movement, the other one is being lifted. And so that's when you start to see what we call hiking the hip. And that's just a matter of hike, and I'll exaggerate it. That's just hiking this hip this way as you're hiking it. And we see that in so many people. In fact, I don't even remember when last time I saw anybody that had good posture, good alignment. Everybody has something wrong with them. This has
Even
been a
myself.
tough, this has been a, yeah, both of us.
Even myself.
It's been a tough 2 years. And so we've got to start to work on it before it gets worse. And we really don't know how long it's going to be like this. So, you know, we might as well accept that we're going to hopefully get through this and do something that you can come here safely, do these exercises. Okay, you come in here, you know, whether you believe it or not, you've got to wear a mask when you come into this room here.
Tim, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
So are there specific movements or poses that would target specific ailments or issues? So if you would recollect, and you talked about back pain and neck pain, let's talk about things like, I don't know, high blood pressure. Is there something, say, that would people?
Yeah. So
is it breathing? Is it breathing, or is it something like that?
Yeah. So let's take high blood pressure. You know, the breathing, the heart working is pumps that blood more. The more that you're pumping the blood and exercising, the more elasticity you're putting into those arteries and those veins. Okay, and that's stretching it out, stretching it, getting keeping it flexible. So yeah, there's no doubt that for high blood pressure, that yoga is really a good exercise to do. That's for sure. That, you know, there's no doubt about that one at all.
Great. So cardiovascular issues in general, this is something that could help people with those kinds of issues.
Yeah, you know, heart disease, you know, can be from high blood pressure. It can be from lack of exercise. So
Genetics.
yeah. So yeah, heart disease is definitely one of the things that we know is helped by doing yoga, just relieving the stress. You know how everything, you just tighten up and you create not only the tightness in the body, but you also produce hormones that don't do good things to the arteries and the veins. So by doing yoga and relaxing, you counteract that. So
How about sleeping better at night?
oh yes, that's another thing that we know, that for most people that they sleep a lot better when they do yoga. They sleep a lot better when they do exercise.
Mhm.
You know, anytime that you can tire out the body in the right way, you're going to sleep better. And all you have to do is try it. You know, it's I think it was probably the thing I hear the most after somebody started yoga. I slept so good last night. You know.
And those realistically are our goals as we do get higher up in number and years, is really sleeping better, have more independence in life, making sure that we do live, if not pain-free, pain managed, and be able to play with our grandkids, our neighbor's dog, our cat, and still be able to do the things that we love oh so much in life. And again, yeah, yoga is gonna be one of those. And just anything that you can ever imagine that you've seen in a yoga commercial or a class are probably similar things that we would instruct you to do as well. And again, maybe just a modification. I think both of us love teaching one of this particular stretch right here. I call it the figure four. I don't know what Tim calls it.
You know what? I don't even know if I have a name for that.
I don't have it. I just call it a
You know,
figure four.
Because I work at starting down at the
Yep.
ankle. I'll work at, you know,
And
crossing the legs. I'll make you turn.
Yep, circle.
I'll make you bend forward. I'll make you hold. There's round. I'll make you round. There's all kinds of things that I'll make you do when I do that. Because what you're doing is you're stretching out that hip and the glutes, the thighs. But yeah, so I don't even know what the name is
No,
actually
because
for.
that move starts from, I want to say it's a chair pose from here.
Yeah, like tree posts. Oh, yeah, just chair posts.
Chair pose.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Don't
so
try that at home.
sometimes, yeah, so that's a difficult one. So we're so used to the modifications that sometimes we don't remember what the
We don't
original
remember
name
all of them.
was.
But
Because
there's always going to be a base movement. So that, for example, is going to be your advanced move where you sit back into that foot, mind your posture. You can always hang on to something here as well. Watch that front knee. My toe is facing forward, even though it's off camera. Modification to that would be, of course, having a seat, bringing that leg up, or even if this is challenging for you, grabbing an extra chair or a stool, maybe lower than the current one that you're sitting on, and have that extended forward with your knee still falling out to the side. And again, taking that foot forward and then just crossing again, as long as that knee is falling out to the side. This one really helped me with my hips. My hips get achy from being on this hard surface all day teaching classes. So when I can do that move there, and kind of sit, I'm a little bit more in a better alignment. I'll sit at my desk in this manner. I try not to sit like this. That's not the best way to sit for our knees and for that calf muscle. But when we can sit like this, we're a little bit more into that natural alignment. We can still sit into our sit bones and still project into good posture. And of course, when you do to one side, you want to make sure you go into the other. And you might notice something different in your body. Maybe one knee is up higher than the other. And that means that you might need to take a little bit longer time to stretch into that side of the body or that leg. Do your little circles, your forward fold, and a twist. And that's all going to assist in relaxing through that back and that hip.
And Brittany, you talked about something in a previous example where you said to loosen your jaw.
Yes.
Okay. Why is that important?
For so many different reasons. For yoga practice, I think it benefits for breathing. There is a specific name for it, and I'll come pretty close. I'm going to pull my mask down as long as Tim's okay with it. When you breathe, you want to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. It's harder to do when your teeth are clenched together and your jaw is tight. So if you can relax your jaw, take your tongue and remove it from the top of the mouth, and just keep your lips lightly pursed together. You can still lightly breathe and have a better yoga practice. You're going to be really drawing yourself internally for better well-being and having that mindful movement and just connecting with your breath. And your breath is going to go a long way into what you are stretching. I mean, I personally believe our breath can be guided through the body to relax our shoulder. You could breathe into your shoulder, your bicep, your hand, anything that's hurting, and just imagine that your breath goes into that area and kind of massages it. That's going to be a little bit more of like a meditation style, which I've learned a lot from Tim over the last few years on meditation. But you can also utilize a light. Maybe you want to imagine a light coming in with your breath instead of your air coming through. So that's going to be more of the meditation side of yoga.
And don't forget that this jaw here that you're tightening is a muscle. In fact, the muscle that goes up to it is called the sternocleidomastoid. It's the mastoid is the face part, and it comes down neck, hooks up to the shoulder blade, the chest area. So when you clamp down, you're clamping down this muscle. This is the muscle that turns your head. You can see it right there. So if you're clenching down, you're keeping that muscle tight. We already talked about the neck, tech neck. We're trying to relax those muscles. Keeping it forward, clenching down, stress, that's what affects that muscle. So the jaw is still part of the neck muscles right here.
And I see that we have about 10 minutes left. If anybody has specific questions to maybe what they need for their body, we can touch base on specifics for you. So you can send it in the chat. It doesn't have to be open public. You could do a direct message as well. You can always raise your hand.
As long as you're all HIPAA compliant here, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and feel free to take yourself off mute if you need to. Or raise your, you can raise your real hand, raise your virtual hand. And what
I'd like to go over maybe my favorite yoga move. I'm not yoga certified. There are basic practices as a personal trainer that I am allowed to follow. I'm a big fan of the warrior poses. I just feel so strong when I do them, and they're a little bit more challenging. I'll go ahead and show you guys, and if my posture is wrong, Tim's going to go ahead and correct me because again, I'm not personally yoga certified. It takes 200 hours minimum just to become a yoga instructor on top of extra certifications to make sure you can grow your knowledge. So one way that we can do our warrior poses is by seated. So we also normally sit in our chair kind of facing forward. We want to turn our body and start kind of with our feet to the side. We can drop down one leg. I don't know if you guys can see the back leg here. I'm up on my toe. Some people like the toe to be dropped down to the floor. Some people like that toe to be pressing into the ground, trying to create 90 degrees here. While you're here, we're squeezing the bottom, squeezing that tummy. You can bring your hands one forward, one back, and we can turn that chest a little bit too. Drop those shoulders down. So this is one way. Your head could be forward. It can be facing here. Maybe you need to hang on to that chair and you arm. And then you can, of course, come into your warrior. Is this one or
3.
two? This is 3. This is 3. Warrior 3. And of course, sometimes you can do a little forward fold. You can bring the arms up. So this is some of my favorite techniques here because it's going to help to open up that hip flexor. The standing version, which you can do with or without your chair. And of course, if you're doing it on one side, please do it on the other. My favorite way to do it standing, and we actually do this in some of our online classes here, is your feet are going to start right directly underneath those hips. And you want to start by just having your feet kind of separated in a nice neutral position. You turn your back toe out. For me, this is not a wide enough stance. For some with balance issues, this might be. You can either keep that chair close by to hang on to it. You could take a deeper pose here. So that front leg should be bent and my body should feel like it's almost sandwiched between 2 walls. I'm opening up through my adductor, squeezing through my abductor and my bottom and the glutes. And same thing. We can go into all the same. I like to wiggle here. My rib cage doesn't like to twist in that direction. So sometimes got to wiggle it out. And then you can go into the different poses here. Those are just some of my favorites. We can also come into our pyramid pose, which I know Tim really likes that one where we strengthen and lengthen those legs. Now, Tim,
Reverse.
in our pyramid reverse, in our pyramid form, is our back toe facing the forward or out to the side?
Out to the side.
Out to the side. Okay. And then that reverse one I think is here.
Reverse warrior. Yeah, there we go.
And all these poses, whether or not you need to use that chair or not, we're going to gain some flexibility, some strength, balance. Again, if you have that chair and you need to focus on building your strength in your legs here, but hanging onto that chair, you're still working on strength. You're still working on balance and you're working on building up to some of those yoga poses.
Great balance exercise. It really is.
Oh, Tim.
And we do that in the chair yoga class.
Yep.
As we will sit in the chair and do that.
The first time I ever took chair yoga with Tim, I was so happy and giddy when he said, okay, now we're going to go ahead and do downward puppy. So most of us know as downward facing dog, which is going to be done down to the floor. You press your hips back. You try to get your heels locked into the ground and your ear is towards your bicep or same alignment here. So that's downward dog down to the ground. If you're on high blood pressure medication, you easily get dizzy. You don't want to take your head below your heart and not for any length of time. So that's where you can use your chair. Stand up tall in your same gait, toes forward. Same thing, you pull your hips up towards the sky and you press that chair away, just bringing your chest down towards your legs.
Downward puppy.
Downward puppy. And maybe that's too complicated. Take the chair back and just don't go down as low. You'll notice that my knees are always going to have a small bend. We're never locking them back. I have hypermobile joints, so I'm very easily able to demonstrate that. Any questions with anything so far?
Yeah, one more. So how many times a week should we be doing this?
The minimum is 2 times a week.
Okay.
That's the minimum. 3 is better. With yoga, you could do every day.
And is there a minimum time where you would put in, say, 50 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour? Do you have recommendations on that?
You know, it kind of depends on how you feel, but a half an hour as you age is a good time. If you were younger, it'd be an hour.
Okay.
But you know, you can do this in 10-minute increments too. You can do a little bit in the morning when you get up. You can do it when you go to bed during the day. In fact, actually, I really recommend that you do it every half an hour, at least one pose. If you're going to watch TV, if you're going to work on the computer, if you're going to get forward, you got to get back the other way. So yeah, so there's different yoga stretches that I'd like to see everybody do. You know, maybe every 20 minutes, every 30 minutes, if you're going to spend time in front of the TV, computer, on your phone.
And what about a sequence of poses? Is it, should you start with one and have, say, 4 or 5 or 6, or is there an order, or how would you describe that?
Well, usually if you go forward, then you want a pose that will go backwards, but it depends on how difficult the pose is that you're starting out with. Sometimes I'll just add on, you know, I'll start with, we're bending here, laying forward, and then I'll say, okay, let's cross the legs, and then we'll straighten out the legs. And so we'll just add on and makes it a little bit more difficult and build up to where you're coming forward and stretching out those hips and spine.
Okay.
So
looks like
sometimes we'll do that too.
Oh, great. Looks like we have a question from Sharon and Sid.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about, I think it'd behoove us to go to the senior center to get started the first time before we even so-called take it home. So I'm wondering about schedule or setting up time.
Sid, I think I have all of your information. I will put you on my call list for tomorrow. Yep. We do have some fairly different policies than we used to here at the senior center. So I'll go ahead and brush you up on all that stuff tomorrow.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we'll-
don't forget,
And we do have some stretching classes on Zoom as well. So similar how we're kind of teaching now, it would
Okay,
be,
that'd be
I would
great
be
too.
teaching online too.
and I had also do it personal training if you wanted just one-on-one. And we can do that too.
Okay. And just so that you'll know, we do have a Zoom meeting from 10 to 12 tomorrow. Oh, excuse me, I'm
Perfect.
wrong. I'm wrong.
Oh,
We've got
that's okay. Most of my calls I give in the afternoon.
Well, I was wrong.
Don't
It is
forget,
in-
yoga helps the memory too.
Okay, thanks, Tim.
I would say for me, as far as sequencing, I'm not a yoga instructor. Typically what I do is I think, okay, what does my body need? I kind of take an assessment and I say, okay, how does my posture feel? And then I go through every joint in my mind. I say, okay, my neck, my jaw, my shoulders, my elbows, my wrists, my hands. And if that looks good, okay, that's good. Then I go down my spine, I check it, and I'm just mentally checking it. My hips, my knees, my ankles, my toes, my feet. Do a body scan. Like you go into the airport and you stand in that machine, do a body scan. You can imagine a little blue light going through, or that you're getting circled by the airport machine. And then for me personally, I always either A, like to work from the ground up, or B, from the head down. And that way I'm not going to forget anything. And if I do, that's okay. I can always come back to it. But instead of saying, okay, I'm going to do ankle circles, and then now I'm going to come into warrior poses, and now I'm going to come into cat cow, I can say, okay, what am I going to do to help work from the neck? So we can take some of those poses that we did with already and say, okay, this is going to help my neck. Maybe I added a head tilt for some extra stretches here. And then, now what I want to do, cat cow, shoulder circles, add in your twist here on either side. And then for timing for each pose, like Tim was saying, that's going to be up to you and your body. Start out light, 30 seconds to a minute for each one. You don't want to be holding a pose for like 5 minutes all to start out, because you might be sore the next day. Again, yoga is also strengthening. Stretching is strengthening, and it can be overbearing for the body if I'm going to hold this pose for 5 minutes and I've never done it before. So be cautious and listen to you. We can give you guys advice and examples as instructors for the general public, but it is up to you to be the CEO of your body and do what it's telling you to do, and make sure you're not overdoing it.
Well, Brittany and Tim, I know we're a little bit past 7:30 and I want to respect everyone's time because my guess, judging from the fact that none of us have left, is that we could continue this conversation for some time into the evening. However, just for people, just to kind of share with them, you have classes at the senior center. Can you just kind of share your schedule?
Yeah, most definitely. I wish I had it to be able to share on the chat for you guys right now, but I'm on my personal laptop, so I don't have it offhand. If you guys have any questions, I'll leave my email here in the chat. But we have chair yoga every single day, Monday through Thursday, with Tim in person. And then we also offer online or Zoom programs as well. Zoom, we can have an unlimited amount of people. In person, we can only have up to 10 at this time. That's what you'll kind of see the tape here on the floor. It's separating everybody. Again, there are protocols and procedures to be able to come into the building for fitness classes. If you're just roaming around, going to social hour, the rules apply differently. Our number one goal is to stay open and keep everybody safe and healthy. So that's what we're doing our best to do. But yeah, we offer so many classes. Tim offers when we're focusing under an encompassing umbrella for yoga or things that are in similar practice. I would say every single day we've got a couple options. We've got beginner Tai Chi and Pilates on Monday and Wednesday, as well as chair yoga. And then on Tuesday, Thursdays, we offer
Body alignment,
as well as chair yoga and intermediate Tai Chi. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. Again, you're going to get similar things out of everything. A great place to start would be in our body alignment class. A lot of that will be done partially standing, partially on the floor. Don't be scared to get on and off the floor. We all get on and off the floor in different manners. Sorry guys, I can't type and talk at the same time. But and then again, we have that seated chair exercise or chair yoga, which is one of our most popular, which is why we do have it every day. If you're interested in getting in that one's a little bit harder to get into. When it comes to Zoom, we have, I think, 3 or 4 classes a week right now on Zoom that do cater to these options, as well as we offer core and mobility and different balance classes that will assist in your yoga practice or Tai Chi or anything else. So we have a lot of different options here at the center that we can benefit for anybody. So.
And can people find that on the website?
So at the moment, we are currently in transitioning on our website. So best thing to do is get on my email list. I can email updates with calendar, scheduling, and all that good information that you might need. Oops.
Well, Brittany, while you're typing your email, I want to big thanks to both you and Tim. Really excellent information. Thanks for spending your evening with us. Just really, again, I thought you guys did a wonderful job kind of opening up with sort of an intellectual discussion about it before actually moving into actually some of the poses and things. So I really, really appreciate it. Thought it was a perfect topic for January for people who like to kind of kick off the year on a good note. So hopefully this will help people with that. And want to let people know that we'll be back on February 8th with another H Smart. And since Valentine's Day falls close to the next H Smart, we will be talking about love in the time of COVID, I think is the title of that one. So that should be an interesting presentation as well. It's with Sheila Shen. And you can always go to aarp.org/AK to register. All right, Brittany, Tim, going to give you the last word here. Any parting comments you have for everyone tonight?
I did go ahead and I put my email and phone number in the chat. So if you can pull that up, if you look at the bottom of your screen, if you're on a Microsoft computer, if you're on a Apple computer, it's going to be more at the top where you can find the chat. So if you have any questions about what we offer here, or maybe you're not ready to come back in person, but maybe you want a YouTube option, I can always send that your way as well. Again, YouTube is such a great resource. We want to utilize all those options that do come online with us. So if you're not ready to come in person yet, we also have Zoom for our members as well. So we work in many different manners here at the Senior Center, but even if you don't have a membership, I'll still assist you on finding something that will help you out online if you're not ready to come into the building or if you're not a member. So we can
Yeah,
definitely work on all of
Brittany,
those
looks-
options for you.
Brittany, looks like we, if you could maybe type in your email address one more time in the chat, it may have gone either to a direct message, I'm not sure, but if you could type it
Oops,
into.
It did. Thank
okay.
you for catching that.
And while she's doing that, I just want to say that if you're not exercising, yoga is the perfect place to start. Yoga will make you a healthier person and you'll live a healthier life, a happier life. And we'd be more than happy to welcome you here.
Great, Tim. That's really a great way to wrap things up. So I do want to again thank you both for being with us tonight. Brittany, thank you. We can see your email and your phone number. I'm just going to leave that up for as long as we can so people have an opportunity to write that down. But really great information. You guys really enjoyed it. And I think the best compliment I can share with you is that everyone who started with us stayed with us to the very end. So I think you did a great job, and the audience was very interested in what you had to share with us. So thanks so much for that. And with
Thank
that,
you, everyone.
I wish everyone stay happy, stay healthy, and hopefully we'll have a better 22 than we did at 21. And hopefully we'll get back and do some of these things in person in the near future and see everyone in person at some point this year. So
Thank
with
you.
that, all right, take care, everybody. Have a great evening.
guys
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.